and eventually they'll slowly start eating again. And as the tide starts coming back, bait fish start coming back, they'll start, they'll go back to prefrontal normal fishing again. But
And so
yeah, those
here's
days
how
right
I
behind the
explain that. There's a rhythm to nature. I tell people, so out on the Serengeti, I've never been to Africa, but I watch a lot of Nat Geo.
Man, we're talking about the Serengeti today.
Lion King, man.
I watch a lot of Nat Geo channel.
Me
and so
too.
there's times when the lions are laying at the water hole and the antelopes can walk up to the water hole and just have a drink. And the lions they choose just not to kill them at that moment, but come back at the wrong moment. And the poor antelope just sticks his head out of the bushes, and the lions, it's time to kill shit. So there's times the rhythm of nature is it comes and goes.
There's your YouTube short, John.
I might have to mark that 58 minutes.
If you happen to be there when the lions are in a mood, and then it's your time.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Jack Hanna doesn't have shit on Dean Thomas.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna defend you a little bit here, Dean, because that was actually very, very compelling, very appropriate, very accurate. But it was funny as hell. Let me tell you about the Serengeti and the antelope and the lions.
It just makes sense.
It did. It absolutely makes sense.
I've heard that analogy 100 times. It was the first time I've had tears in my eyes when I heard it.
The old Serengeti and the antelope.
And now you don't have to do the African safari.
I'm going to get Chris Collin here his news. Hakuna Matata, bitches.
Yeah. Why is this not highlighted on the screen right now, John?
I can work with that. Back in the lane, by the way, back to get between the white lines, between the buoys. So Caleb Scott talked about, okay, they pigged out. No, they're going to just look for the bubbles. They're not going to be there. Dean talked about the Serengeti and antelopes. But if you're on the water and you know that happened and they're fat and happy,
not in Africa.
but and you're not in the Serengeti, you're in East Matagorda or Matagorda Bay or wherever, where do you go? Because that's the gist of his question. He's like, I'm lost. They're full. They were there. They're not there anymore. But you're fishing. What do you do?
I'm assuming it's safe to go to the water hole at this moment. Now, Scott's dead on. He just left out the part about how high the barometer is after that dump. But we experienced the same stinking thing. But okay, where I'll it's hard to follow what just happened.
Take a pass.
So it depends on it. So this last dump we had, it got cooler. The water temperature was 60 whenever I launched, which was relatively cold for the season being. It was the first time it got cold for them. And there were fish laying absolutely everywhere up shallow. And so we were able to entice some of them, and there's probably about a 30% success ratio on get them to eat. But the fish were laying up shallow, kind of sunning and chilling out after all of that. My other option would probably, if I was trying to fish for trout, I would go out in a deeper water with a heavier jig head, and I would slow hop stuff on the bottom because the barometer's high, or they ate a lot, whatever Scott says. Either way, they're inactive and they're usually sitting down in the bottom of the water column. And that's what we've done a lot is those post front days is going and just hopping a plastic real slow on the bottom. We can pick them up that way as well.
Or maybe change your entire target, right? I mean, what you're targeting, and maybe go with a plan B, right?
Maybe target a beer up at Twin Peaks instead of going fishing.
Yeah, something along those lines. Something.
Use a popping cork, wake them back up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, do that. Do that.
But just only go to the watering hole a day or two after a front. That third day, don't go get you a drink.
Oh Lord. All right. So
For once, you guys are making good sense.
We are.
I like that we waited 54 minutes to address the first topic. That's a hell of a rundown if I ever saw one.
I got some truth serum for the two at the bottom of the screen here. I need a truth serum out of you two. When y'all saw the rundown,
Yeah.
how far did y'all get into reading that question?
What
It was
question?
long.
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, I didn't read that whole question.
I didn't even get a rundown.